Hi, today I'd like to welcome someone who has been receiving a lot of attention on Instagram lately. She is known for a controversial post and for being a radical progressive. Today I'd like to welcome Annoyed Teenager, who has advocated for things such as normalizing incest and reading news you only agree with, and so much more.
So I'm Annoyed Teenager. I run the Instagram page, Annoyed Teenager. I'm an activist, a progressive, and I fight for the future.
My first question for you is, you probably get asked this a lot. And I asked a few people what questions they would ask you if they could ask you a question. And they said, are you satire?
No, a lot of people think I'm satire because of my, well, I guess, radical views. But I don't think they're very radical because I think when you're fighting for the future of equality and for personkind, I think it really does matter to fight for equality. And if that means that people think of you as a radical, I think it's worth it. Human rights are not radical.
Do you have a lot of haters?
What, haters?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. I have so many haters. I get death threats every day. They say, kill yourself, murder, like hang yourself, shoot yourself in the fucking face. And I mean, it's whatever. I don't get offended.
Why do you think they hate you so much?
They're bigots. They're racist. Their hatred toward minorities too.
And I have one more question, and then we're going to move on to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I heard that you have a new album coming up. Is that true?
It is true. I do have a new album. I practice arts and I do a lot of experimental stuff too. And I think a lot of people hate on me because my art is extremely avant-garde and a liberal type of art. And still I get a lot of hate comments. Sorry if it's very loud. I'm outside of Starbucks.
Oh, it's fine. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your upcoming album?
No, I don't think, you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. A lot of people think that my page is just to advertise for the album, but I just think that I love to do art and it's a fun thing to do. And I don't know, it's a lot of the hate that I get is just symbolic of oppression and the struggle with a future of trueness, I guess.
I just wanted to ask about the post you did about overweight people being braver than veterans. So in your post, you had said that fighting a war and fighting society, you said that fighting society is more difficult, I believe. But wouldn't you say that it's not necessarily more difficult, but it's different?
No, well, it is different, but it's like comparing apples and apples. They're both wars.
I agreed with you when you had said that body standards must change. That's absolutely true. But then when it was, I thought that when saying that overweight people are braver than veterans, I think it's something that, yes, there's a lot of mental health that goes into it, but weight is not in all cases, but in many cases something that you can change. Whereas, yes, joining the military is a choice, but
no, I'm sorry. See, the problem is that you've been misinformed, or you're a victim of I hate to use the word fake news, but you're a victim of incorrect news.
Okay.
Because fat people get to no, listen. I'm sorry, that was rude. But look, soldiers choose to go to war. Fat people do not choose to be fat. It's a part of their genetics and you can't change it.
So just to clarify, you're saying that all overweight people cannot change their weight at all?
That is true. It's metabolism.
Okay. So
are you a member of the overweight? Are you a member of the overweight community?
No, I'm not. But
see, so the thing is, I don't think that people who are not a member of an oppressed, I'm sorry if this comes across as rude or too forward, but if you're not a member of an oppressed community, I don't think you should tell them. I don't think people get to qualify for other people what is offensive to that oppressed group.
Okay.
Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that statement?
I would agree with that statement, but with that being said, is that, in my opinion, and this is not true in every case, weight can change for people, and a lot of people have a fluctuating weight, and a lot of people have lost a lot of weight, and a lot of people have gained a lot of weight. So
See,
it is.
that's a common example of gaslighting.
So anyway, to move on from that, wouldn't it be better? Because when you said, and I agree with you, that eating is a loop and is a symptom of a lot of the oppression that overweight people get. But wouldn't you say that providing more mental
Exactly.
health sources and upping our mental health game in the United States or, you know, in the world, wouldn't you say that that would be an important factor in changing that?
I believe that's a utopian pipe dream for the model minority. Joe Biden is not racist.
Okay.
Question next is, do you ever plan on running for office in the future?
Maybe I do. I haven't really thought of that until now. Could be too much stress, I think. I think it could be too much stress.
But you're considering it. That's
Perhaps.
that's great.
Oh my god, I hadn't thought of that before.
Well, that's great. Love sharing ideas. Is there anything you wish people like understood about you?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they say, which politician do you support? Who are you voting for? I think that we need a revolution and not a politician. Because I think that World War II was fought with guns and explosions, and World War III will be fought with nukes and UAVs, but World War IV will be fought with keyboards and by the oppressed people of society who are going to be realizing their true self-worth, such as the racial minorities, sexual minorities, weight minorities. We're going to be, I think it'll be a true progressive future with real actual equality.
So you want a revolution. How do you want to accomplish this?
By rising up to the ruling class and men.
So you would do this through your keyboards, you said?
Well, through my keyboards or with like knives, or I'm not sure. I don't actually have many weapons, and I'm not an owner of any. See, I'm a progressive anti-assault weapon, military grade. So in my perfect society, there would not even be these military grade assault weapons. So I just think I'm not sure. I hadn't thought of it. That's a really great question that you make me ponder. Thank you. And if there are going to be guns, then I think there should be single-shot muskets only, because I'm a very strong advocate against child killing full auto AR-15s with bump stocks.
I'll move on to Jenny.
This is a very strange podcast.
Hi, thank you for your time. At first, I wanted to ask
Oh my
you,
God,
what is
hi.
your
You
most
sound so
popular-
nice. You sound so kind.
Oh, thank you. So I was interested in what your
Yeah, no
most
problem. You
popular
sound so
and
kind.
least popular opinion is.
What's that?
What is your most and least popular opinion?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that my most unpopular, well, I'm not sure if it's my most unpopular, but I got lots of hate for my Normalized Incest post.
Okay.
Lots of death threats.
Especially
from the male community.
Okay. Well,
death threats, rape threats.
And why do you think that is?
I think it's because of that, because people are afraid to see love in its truest form. That's literally all I think it is, because people love to hate. I think they just don't understand our struggle.
Would you say that Donald Trump's bond with Ivanka Trump is an example of incest?
There's no proof of them having sex. However, if they did, as long as she's above 18, however much I hate them, however much I'd like to see them, I can't even say, but as much as I'd like to see them, I think it's really, how can I say this? I think as long as there's consent and they're above the age of 18 or 16 or like 15, then I think it's okay.
A lot of your posts seem to be very controversial. For instance, recently you made a post that people shouldn't have to wear tampons if they don't want to. But aren't you concerned about children that might see that on display?
Donald Trump, Agent Orange, I guess I should call him, Donald Trump puts children in cages. And I think because of this, human rights are not a debate. they're not controversial. And if they are controversial, then you're just I mean, it sounds bad to say, but you're just a fucking bigot, you know? And so I think that if people want to free bleed, that's what it's called, a free bleeding community. You can find many pages about this. Many of my great friends are free bleeders. I think you have to be more accepting of vagina having people existing in their most primal and their most natural state possible. I don't see any problem with free bleeding. And I think the only reason that people are against it is because they're disgusted by the vagina and the uterus. By presenting our ideas to children, we eliminate the old standards and the outdated standards.
I was wondering if there's like a celebrity you aspire to be like.
I'm actually a big fan of Amy Shooter. I think I do appreciate the representation of the female community and the female identifying community and the fat community. However, I wish that she was a person of color. I love Lizzo.
What's your favorite thing about her?
My favorite thing about her size.
Oh,
and
not her songs?
And she has beautiful. Well, I mean, her songs, I've never listened to one, but I do still consider her an idol. I think she's a huge step forward for BIPOC, the bisexual person of color, and for the community and everything.
Is it like celebrity or just person, politician, anyone? Would you like aspire to be? Like which one? Who's your favorite celebrity? Who's your favorite politician or something along those lines?
Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama, I think. I learned lots about Michelle Obama. However, I don't fully appreciate the fact that she started pushing for more children eating like vegetables. And she's straight.
Don't you think people should have free will and be able to do the things they like?
Well, see, that's a difficult question because I think they should be able to have free will as long as it not only allows and is accepting of, but benefits oppressed communities. And where did I say I disagreed with that?
Oh, well, it's because you mentioned that Michelle Obama is straight and you're not a fan about that. But I think she should be allowed to do what she wants.
I think it's okay that she's straight, but I think if she's on such a big global and important scale, I do with all my heart believe that it's extremely important that she is that she's more, how can I say this? I think it should have been better if she was a racial or sexual or size minority, if she's going to be such an important figure on the world scale.
Back a second. You said BIPOC, stood for bisexual person of color. That's actually false. It stands for Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And then tying it into the free will about...
Wait. I'm sorry, what? Could you repeat that again? I didn't hear.
BIPOC actually stands for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, not bisexual people of color.
I did not know that, but I feel like that's very exclusionary. Are Black people, that's excluding Black and Indigenous people from the people of color community.
I mean, that's a debate and an argument that you could easily make. But I actually wanted to discuss your post about normalizing incest. Because in my opinion, the criminalizing incest.
See, I'm going to stop you right there. The problem with what you just said is that you said in your opinion. I speak with factual information and topographic studies and imperial data.
Okay, perfect.
Unfortunately, when you're speaking on opinions, it's okay. Sure,
Let's talk about facts then. Human Hereditary actually reports that 42% of incestual births lead to severe birth defects. So do you think it's fair to the children who are born out of incestual relationships that they are born with birth defects, that they can't really...
Those, unfortunately, that is excluding the consensual homosexual incestual relationships. That's a very heteronormative idea where you're getting those figures from. I'm very sorry to tell you.
Actually, this is
coming from
this is actually about birth. So not necessarily just this is about the birthing, the having been born from a birth of
what about bone marrow?
What about what?
Bone marrow?
Well, what I'm saying is that 42% of people who are born from incest actually have extreme birth defects. Do you think that's fair to the children?
Those are not the facts that I was given.
What were the
Who are you?
facts that you were given?
I think we may have
Well,
that one. Well, I forget.
well, let me keep
However,
going
it
with
still
this.
assumes that the relationship is heteronormative.
Well, let me go on with this. Incest is
Okay.
often actually practiced by polygamous cults such as the FLDS and other fundamentalist Mormon organizations, who in most cases in these organizations, they actually force women into abusive relationships with uncles, brothers, etc. Do you think that is okay? Because we're discussing that, incestual relationships are inherently like denormalized by Western culture. Do you think, in that specific case, not in all cases, but in that specific case, Mormons are a Western organization, and incest dates back a long time into even medieval times in Western culture, and even into the Renaissance, even into the late 1900s. All of these things have happened in Western culture, and you specifically said that Western culture denormalizes it. So what do you say in regards to that? What do you say in regards to the fact that many Western cultures actually did and have practiced incestual relationships? And because saying that Western culture has denormalized it is inherently false.
Well, no. I think incest can be practiced. I dare you to find one time where I said I supported non-consensual incest.
I wasn't talking about non-consensual incest. I was saying that in Western culture, incest has actually been practiced, and you made a statement that Western culture denormalizes it.
It was appropriated.
What did you have to say in regards to, do you think that, because do we want to be inclusive of all cultures, or cultures like the FLDS
Yes.
culture, fundamentalist Mormons? Should we be
what is
inclusive
what is the
fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints?
what is the FLDS?
The Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints. It's a fundamentalist Mormon organization.
Are those the racists? Are those the racists?
It's not clear, but you can make a strong assumption that they can be racist because there are no non-Caucasian members. But do you think that the culture that they
is
promote,
a very good way to find racism? I agree.
We
found common ground. Yay!
Do you support the culture that they have of forcing under 18-year-old daughters to be married to older uncles, older brothers, non-consensually?
Absolutely fucking not.
Okay.
Where do you think I'm sorry if that was rude, but where do you think I would support that?
Well, I was just wondering, because you said that Western culture is...
The only time that incest causes real problems is usually with the Eurocentric racists.
But wouldn't we already have the statistic that 42% of births incestual births do end in severe defects? So would that be Eurocentric? Because that was a statistic taken from around the world.
That was not a statistic taken from around the world. And they only account for
from the
heterosexual
human hereditary.
They only account for heterosexual relationships. Wait.
Annoyed teenager, I wanted to ask you a last question.
Okay.
And that question is, if you know anything about the account Monday.
Do I know anything about them?
Yeah,
yes,
it seems like they're copying your style.
They are. There are many accounts who are copying my style, and I would just like to say that I am not affiliated with any of those copycats. I have also seen another one at Frustrated Activist. I am not affiliated with that. I'm not affiliated with At Monday either. They're copies of me, and they're likely Nazis.
You're not even affiliated with Annoyed Teenager Intern?
No, I'm not affiliated with Annoyed Teenager Intern.
Okay.
The only account run by me is Annoyed Teenager.
Is there anything else?
They're alt-right trolls.
Is there anything else you have to say before we end this?
I really don't want to end this. I don't have much societal interactions. I'm actually very glad. But I do think that we should finish off this podcast by saying I think we should let uncles fuck dads.
So, and then just one final question that I want to bring to light. You said that you think Monday, the account Monday, might be a Nazi, or that they're copying you and that you aren't really a fan of them. So why do you follow Monday then?
He offered to pay me money to put an advertisement on my story, and I figured he'd get very popular because of his username, which is very nice. So I figured we could have a deal.
Okay, so actually Monday has she, her in her bio, just so you know.
I did not know that. She offered me money, and I turned it down because I don't fall into these capitalistic things. I think you should hold them accountable for anything they do. I don't talk to many people. This is very fun.
This is really fun for us too.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh my God, I love you folks.
Oh,
Oh,
Well-
thank you.
Did I change your minds on any topics?
No,
We are all about open discourse in this podcast.
yes.
You
So
might
I
have not
changed your
changed
mind.
our minds,
Yay!
but you might inspire others.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you for coming on. We're gonna
Let
end.
uncles fuck dads.
What?
Let
Thank
uncles
you
fuck dads.
so much for your participation in this podcast. I hope we
Oh
can
my God, it was
continue
so
to
fun.
create a good.
Yeah, I hate to say we're on the right side of history because it implies right wing, but we are on the correct side of history.
That's
Keep fighting the good
excellent.
fight, folks.
You
Okay.
too. Thank you
When
so
will I
much.
be on it again?
You can come on again if you ever want to. You could.
We
just,
can continue discussing that. Thank you so
I'd
much
love to
for
because I feel like we
participating.
barely even scratched the surface. There's so much to talk about, such that science is racist.
Yeah, we'll get to that topic another time, maybe.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
another day.
Wait, annoyed teenager, I do have an idea for you.
Okay.
I noticed that you made a post saying that if you don't wear a mask, you are racist. I think that you should release merchandise, maybe like a face mask with your little logo.
I do have merchandise. I'll send you the link after my bio. You can buy a T-shirt that says "This guy fucks" or "This guy is in an incestual relationship."
I think we're going to end this here. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the podcast. And
Aww.
give a big thank you to Annoyed Teenager.
Annoyed
And that'll be
Teenager.
all for today.
We're working on more merch as we
yes.
speak. My team is working on it.
Awesome. I'm going to end the
Wait, I
call
thought
here.
you said you were independent. And right now you just said that your team is working on the mask.
And my
merchandise.
team, it says it's an attempt to seem more professional.
Oh,
Please cut that part out of the final podcast.
Oh.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to end the call here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh my God. This was okay. Bye.
As you can see, this is an account that seems to make a social commentary about our society. It is both extreme and yet agreeable to a select few. That's what drives the sharing and commentary further that perpetuates ignorance on both left and right-wing media. There are genuine reactions, some of support and some of disgust and hatred. It's the perfect proof for what America has become. Let's also not forget that there is an ARG attached to this account.